Good evening, good morning, and welcome. You've reached the Fanaddicts of film. This is Blasterpiece Theater, our Star Wars show, because we love talking about Star Wars. And hopefully you do too. If you don't, maybe you know what? Maybe we'll convince you. Maybe we'll get you into the fold here and get you signed up, get you a subscription to the Star Wars universe, and you can just play in it and jump around and be a part of it, just like all of us are. My name is Ben, and once again, this is Blasterpiece Theater, and I've got a great cohort with me.
Alex, watch them wrist rockets. Yeah, how y'all doing? I've been playing a lot of that new Battlefront. If you guys haven't, it's dude, it was on Xbox, like $10, the old Star Wars Battlefront 2. We've talked about the EA Battlefront, and man, that old Battlefront just
So, well, forgive me, because I actually only played the first one, and I realized, because we had this conversation before, I've only played the first one, and then I played the EA. So you're saying the second one is by far the best, but
yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2 by Lucasfilms. We were gonna...
was it LucasArts at that point?
LucasArts, I'm sorry, gosh. Yeah, either way.
LucasArts.
We'll probably have some gameplay, but...
One day.
Back
Sunday.
on track. We're here for the news. And the news is Solo. Man, we're 2 days out, right?
Just 2 days away. Can't wait
to what? The big news.
No.
The big news is Ben is still boycotting. He is still boycotting, folks.
Yes, I am, and we're actually going to be doing a show on Thursday night if anyone's interested. Because all my cohorts, all my good friends here, they're all going because they want to check this out. They want to check this thing out. I am actually sold that I am actually completely. No, I don't know for sure. Of course, we don't know for sure, but I am to the point of pretty much convinced that this thing is just no good, and it's something that won't feel like Star Wars. It'll look like Star Wars, but it won't feel like Star Wars. That's just my opinion. I have no idea. That's my prediction, but honestly, that's just what it seems like to me. My first, because we were going to bring up first reactions. That's one of the things that first thing. So there, obviously, this has been talked around all over the place, like how people are reacting, how Lando is pansexual. So and all that stuff, and somehow that's really important, and somehow being pansexual is really important in Star Wars apparently, which is fine, I guess, whatever. But the things that I did see a few initial reactions, Perry Numoff and Christian Harloff, of course, those two. I do take what they say with a grain of salt, but in general, I really respect Christian's way of thinking, and. He said right away, I was really disappointed. The first thing when he first came out, because that guy knows Star Wars, he knows what he's talking about, he knows story, he understands character, he understands the importance of character and the importance of the story and how all that's driven. And as we've discussed many times on this channel, how important it feels like Star Wars. And the first thing he said was, I know that I'm only one voice, but and a lot of other people like this thing, but my first thought was that I'm really disappointed, and sorry guys, but I'm really disappointed. That's what he said, and whatever.
It's interesting to see because Disney's really pushing this one, marketing. Now I'm seeing it. I'm gonna see it. We're gonna do the show the night of. Honestly, I'm pretty excited. I haven't looked into anything as far as the story plot goes. Honestly, the Han, outside of his voice, outside of just the feeling of him, like, it's looking pretty good. The screenshots look good, like the animals, the creatures, like the monsters, like everything, like it's gonna maybe not, it'll look like Star Wars. I think it's gonna feel like Star Wars, but the characters, the character development, the story, the origin, have to wait and see.
And quite honestly, I don't want, forgive me Alex and forgive me anyone else out there, if you are excited for it and you want to enjoy this, more power to you. Congratulations, that's awesome. I just personally, I don't think it will, but I'm just being a dork if it is awesome. It could be awesome, but honestly, so I hope that I'm not affecting your experience with it, because it might very well feel like Star Wars for you, and that's awesome.
Well, and it comes down to two is like, one, I can respect other people's opinion, and two, this doesn't mean that I don't think it's possible that Disney's gonna run Star Wars to the ground.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
whether or not people like The Last Jedi, it definitely split it in two, right? So anybody who's actually boycotting now, because man, I'm not gonna name names, but I've seen a lot of YouTubers recently, like last second, at least maybe they've been there the whole time, but their last second popping up on my feed. We're boycotting.
Oh, okay.
I'm boycotting, and it's like, well, if you really are, and this movie really does flop, and you really do boycott, well, you can say you were on board the train before it was cool, right?
It is interesting to find out. It would be interesting to find out how many people decided to jump on this week. And I'm not, if people decide to boycott, great. And honestly, and the reason for the boycott, for any of you who don't
Understand,
who feel it's silly.
That's a good point.
Because and for one of the big things, just FYI, like when I put up that boycott video on Facebook, I don't know if you saw, but like I got nothing but crap for it. Like so many people just basically made fun of me, we know the difference between Star Wars fans and nerds now. It's like, okay, you're not making yourself clear, even though you're trying to deliver an insult. But there's just a lot of stuff. A lot of people I got so much crap for it, and so I just took it down. But the point is, and I made one stupid video about it, just because I want to get the awareness out. I'm not trying to say, look at me, I'm boycotting. I just wanted to, people to kind of understand, that it's not just me. There's a whole bunch of other people there, and that's the whole point. And I think one of my biggest reasons why I put that out is because there was one guy who put out a video, I can't remember his name, but he put out a video saying, I'm boycotting, and he's basically talking about all the reasons he's boycotting, but the whole video is just the camera's on him walking around, and that's all he's doing. So it's like, so people were saying, oh, it's not about him, it's not about the boycott, it's just all about him. He wants to become a YouTube star or whatever. And so the point is, it is what it is. I'm not trying to ridicule other people or say they're wrong for doing anything. The point is that in the video that I made, all we were trying to do was I was just trying to point out, hey, look, there's a lot of us. It was this in the same regard that we've been trying to get noticed by Lucasfilm for a long time. The people who are not happy with what the current direction that Lucasfilm is taking things, and the laziness that's happening, the lack of respect and all these things. We could go on forever about that. But just all that stuff that's happening, there are a lot of people, and it's not just 10. So that's just the point, is that Lucasfilm thinks there's only a few people. So
yeah,
whatever.
We'll see. We're gonna see.
One of the biggest things I think we should talk about at the podcast on Thursday is the numbers, seeing the numbers going up and seeing we probably won't be able to see them until Saturday, really. But that's going to be the most interesting thing to see, really, how well it does.
How well it does, and man, I'm excited to just give you guys the straight off the dome. I don't know, because again, man, I love Star Wars. I've watched The Force Awakens now a few more times, and dude, that movie's great. That movie's so great, and The Last Jedi slowly but surely grows on me, and it's but it's all the original. It's the reason why I liked it in the first place. Kind of like Chewie, the soundtrack. There are some parts with Rey that's good. So I want Solo to do good, but man, I'm not gonna accept part. I will bash it if it is not.
Well, I'm hoping he will. And so the other thing that we wanted to get to was how a lot of the critics are treating this. A lot of big critics or people are basically they're basically forgiving it for given the circumstances.
Yeah, no, I want a good movie. It's Star Wars. It better be top notch. Freaking, if this was Lucas. Isn't it weird to say that now? It's I wish we had Lucas back. It's true. But Disney, Rogue One, that's a good one. I don't know. I'm still so back and forth that for me, man, this is on the fence. That's why I'm holding my tongue. And I can't wait to let it rip.
The thing that reaffirmed all of this for me and reaffirmed my feelings for what's happening with Disney Star Wars is I saw this... forgive me, I'm going to put the link in the description, but it's this guy who puts together I can't remember what it's called, but it's these people, it's a YouTube channel that puts together story arcs of certain people, and there was one of Obi-Wan, there's one of Luke, there's one of, you know, The Last Jedi, whatever. There's different story arcs that it puts through, and it basically does a musical montage and shows like their whole arc. There's the one that has Obi-Wan, basically shows him, it shows clips of the Clone Wars, it shows clips of A New Hope, it shows clips of like every single part of canon that we actually see Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it puts it all together in this big story. That's really, really cool. So I'll show it to you, and it'll be in the description. But the point is that what I saw is that I saw the Luke Skywalker one, and I believe there's a Leia one too, and I watched these, and the very second it gets up to The Force Awakens, it's showing like Luke's story or whoever's story. The second that I can't remember, but it says the second it gets to The Force Awakens, like my emotion dies, and I don't know, I rewound it to try to see if it would happen again. I wound it like a good 5 minutes back to make sure, and so I was like reattached, and I was like, okay, this is great, this is beautiful. And then at the second that it hits The Force Awakens, any non-George Lucas Star Wars, that's when like literally my emotion drops off. And when I'm watching this, and so this is just me. This is just my personal experience. Maybe you feel more emotion when you see the Force Awakens, and that's wonderful. More power to you. From my personal experience, it's the opposite.
Yeah. Well.
So anyway,
overall, we're on the eve of it. We are on the eve of it.
Apparently, Chewie steals the show in this. Apparently.
Oh man, I knew it. I called it. Did I not call it? I think me and Neil both called it. Saying
you were both saying
we were like, dude, it's Chewie, because same thing in The Last Jedi. Like every scene with Chewie, oh my gosh, that's what's up. It's probably gonna be all the dialogue with Chewie and Han. Those are gonna be the good scenes. Like,
yeah, I think, and apparently he has a nude scene too.
That's great.
Okay, sorry.
See what? Sorry. I don't even. I haven't heard any of these things, and I'm just getting spoiled by the dude who's not gonna see it. How typical. How typical. Moving on though to kind of a spoiler for me is that new TV series, right? The Jon Favreau TV series. How we found out. Well, we thought it was going to be 7 years after the Battle of Endor. In reality, it's 7 years after the Battle of Yavin. Man, that's a totally different time zone. Like, different. Whoa! What do you guys think of that? I mean, what?
Yeah,
what do you think is gonna be portrayed? Who are we gonna be following?
Well, I mean, and once again, this is just coming from that interview that he had. I mean, it was funny because it was a funny moment because, long story short, I'm sure that if anyone's seen it, it's basically Favreau wants to talk about it, but like the guy who's interviewing, I can't remember his name. The one who's interviewing him isn't asking about Star Wars, but he's like, yeah, ask me about, like, you can tell he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm working on this other thing, you know. It's like he's asking him basically everything except for Star Wars, and so Favreau kind of is like pushing it. So yeah, I have this thing. But yeah, it is. So is that confirmed? Is that for sure? I mean, we read it on Star Wars Newsnet. So I mean, those guys are
Twitter,
reputable.
It was Twitter.
So, okay,
saying.
so that is something that I guess is confirmed. Let us know in the comments if anyone has heard anything different. This is something that does change a lot of things. It means that our big three are still alive during that time, and which of course we probably won't see them. If we get small cameos of them with other people playing them, I think it would be okay. It would be more of a disservice to have them only as a small side character, like they did, kind of like they did in this new Battlefront game, which was actually the scene with Luke. I actually thoroughly enjoyed in the Battlefront 2 that we got this last year, but that's like the only part of the game that I did enjoy. But honestly, I guess. It is one of those things where you're kind of really, really curious as to see what will happen here, and it once again making the galaxy smaller, and we're keeping it in the same time period, you know, where it's Rebels versus the Empire, and I guess they're just going to exhaust this. I would have really loved to have seen the thing that George Lucas had, his whole idea of having take place on Coruscant and in between Sith and A New Hope would have been really cool to see, but I guess this is. I'm really curious as to see. I mean, of course, he said that they're all brand new characters. That's what he did. He did confirm that. He says they're all brand new characters, all completely new, with possibilities of cameos. So we'll probably see random people we know like within that time. But it'll be interesting to see them try to fit it in with the comics. But so it's 7 years after A New Hope. Does that mean that it's after Empire Strikes Back?
So it's saying there could not have been more than 4 years between A New Hope and Return of the Jedi. I didn't realize that. So between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back is like 2 years. So really, this is going to be immediately after Return of the Jedi. Not immediately, but I mean within years.
You know what I'd love to see? I'm so glad we figured this out because I would love to see is perspectives of the Battle of Endor from other parts of the battle. I would love to see that because they're introduced in the Shattered Empire comic. We see other perspectives of the parts of the Battle of Endor that we've never seen before, and so they use that device to introduce these new characters that are like for instance in Shattered Empire you meet Poe Dameron's parents, and Poe Dameron's mom hangs out with Luke. This is right after Return of the Jedi. They take off and they go right to find these trees. Luke is like, I've got to go to this outpost that the Emperor is holding. So, and then that's where they
hung out with Luke.
Well, they don't. No. So no. Forgive me. Let's rephrase that. She goes on a mission with Luke. That's what happens.
So it's like serious business.
It's because what on the night. For any of you that read the comic,
I was just making sure that Poe wasn't a Skywalker.
He's not. In this comic, Poe's parents conceive Poe the night of the Battle of Endor. Or at least that's what it's assumed. I'm not sure if it's conceived or conceived or confirmed yet, but that's essentially what. So anyway, long story is that they end up, the two of them, Poe's mom, I can't remember her name, forgive me, and because she's just like there in a hangar, and Luke just barely got back from the Death Star exploding, he's just like, or it's like I think it's like the day after or something, and he's just like, I need a pilot. Are you available? And she's just standing there in the hangar, and she's like, okay, yeah, we'll go. So they go, and then they end up on this, in this outpost where the Emperor was holding these forest trees. They bring one of the forest trees to Poe's parents' house. And that's why people speculate that Poe might be a little force sensitive, is because there's this powerful forest tree in his backyard as he's growing up as a kid. So, but anyway,
man, it could be so much. Like, as far as it could be almost like Rebels, where we didn't even know. Like Ezra was totally outside of the rebellion and then kind of came into it. So if it really is 7 years, again, it's probably a year or two after the Battle of Endor. We could see somebody like part of the Empire. We're seeing it as far as maybe the civilian life goes, and it's breaking up, and maybe we see the First Order kind of creep in. Maybe we get a better sense of where the First Order came from, because I know when I saw The Force Awakens, my first problem was like, dude, First Order, where did they come from?
Everything's undone.
Who is this? Like, what is going on?
The average person says right away, like, they're like, I mean, even the average fan, I talked to average fans about it, they're like, yeah, I was seeing The Force Awakens, it was like everything that they had fought for in the Battle of Endor was just basically undone and just basically gone with. So, but yeah, I personally think that, well, because a lot of the forming of the First Order was established in the books. In those aftermath books.
Yeah,
in that aftermath trilogy that if any of you guys read those, the second two were really good. The first one was a little funky, but anyway, those were actually pretty darn good books. And you do get a sense of what happens, how the First Order is evolved and everything, how that begins. I think personally that it'll probably be just completely different people, or it actually might be Poe's parents. That would be really cool. Yeah, I'm just curious to see what that would be. It'll probably be people we don't even know. No one we know.
Like, at all.
Yeah.
Like, the whole, like, he's taking it serious with brand new. We've never seen him. you know what? That's okay. Rebels
You
are good.
You know what would be really cool? I'd love to see like maybe young people who are Force sensitive, and then Luke comes and finds them at the end of the series. Like it's a 3 or 4 year, it's like a 3 or a 4 year show, right? And then at the very end, Luke is looking for people to bring to the New Jedi Order, and Mark Hamill shows up on the last episode, and it's like these 4 or 5 different Force, or just maybe he ends up somehow in there. But I think that would be actually pretty rewarding to see.
Now, my final question is, they said that it's gonna be like the Jungle Book. Now, is this gonna be live action with CGI? Like,
Yeah.
or yeah?
Yeah, it is live action. That's confirmed that it's a live action series.
Oh, snap!
So that's what they mean by like the Jungle Book in the sense of because Favreau directed the Jungle Book.
Yeah. It's gonna be crazy.
Well, it's because like I know that to you, it's a lot of people they see it, but see it in Jungle Book was they can see the CGI, but for a lot of people it looks extraordinarily real, and that at that time when the Jungle Book came out, I mean it's like what 2 years old. It's about a year and a half, 2 years old. So, but at that time that was cutting edge technology. So think of it even now, like even further now, and they're having the full force of the money of Lucasfilm. You won't be able to even tell something CGI or not. I mean, or at least we'll see.
I want that old school prequel vibe though.
Yeah. So a prequel vibe, but awesome CGI, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see. Kind of excited for that too, though, because again, Rebels started off a little kid, like it was a kid show, a little too much for me. But as it progressed,
yeah.
Definitely great.
Yeah, I think Alex and I are both on the same page in the sense that we both love the Clone Wars because, maybe the first few episodes, maybe like the first 5 episodes were kind of childlike and here and there and that type of stuff because they were kind of winning people over, and then kind of transferring it coming in from that movie, the film the animated film that came out, and then but like really quickly it got pretty awesome really fast, and I thought so. We both loved that, and yeah, Rebels tended to be a little bit more. For kids, etc. But speaking, since did you have something else to add before?
No.
Okay, so just real quick, has anyone been watching Mike Zero's channel? I'm addicted to it because he's a Skywalker fan like I am. He's a Luke fan. We're both Luke fans. Whatever. Something. Anyway, so he was talking about Thrawn. Apparently, Thrawn is confirmed for Episode 9. So that's kind of cool. It is one of those things that this is what he's saying. So I mean he has a lot of information. He can get information. I don't know how you get, but this is what Mike Zero's saying. That's really cool. If they as long as they don't just like have him be like this tiny little side character, and have him actually be in there, and it would just be really cool to see that. Hopefully we'll bring some of that unknown region stuff, and we'll see maybe his best friend that we met in the book. The point is, Timothy Zahn is writing like 2 more Thrawn books, but they're not coming out until Episode 9 is like well underway or something like that. That's when they're scheduled for. So, what do you think of this?
How old will that make him?
I don't know. We don't know how old he is now, but the Chiss can survive a long time, apparently. So.
I guess he's like a humanoid. I would hope it would almost explain it. Like, that's a long time.
Well, I mean, once again, like, Chewie's 100 and something. Like, in general,
yeah,
I think that's
a good point, huh?
And I think
he's another alien race, so it kind of doesn't matter. But, if he's coming back, we have to know what happens to Ezra. They can't bring him back and just leave Ezra. Or if they don't talk about Ezra in Episode 9, they have to bring him in the live TV series. It's going to be one or the other. There is no way Thrawn gets to come back and we don't know what happens to Ezra. Yeah. Or Ahsoka. Like, I don't even know, man. We'll see.
Yeah. I am curious to see what happens there with Ezra and Thrawn. Although that ending of Rebels wasn't best, but it is what it is. I can't talk right now. But that is an interesting thing to think about. What do you think? Do you think adding Thrawn and Mara Jade in this last Episode 9, do you think it's weird? Do you like it? Do you think it'll
Where
fit?
did Mara Jade come from? Well, we were talking about Thrawn.
Well, I mean, there's just that, the character called Mara on set. We talked about this before.
Oh, yeah. So. I don't think it's gonna. I think it's like one of those it's just like the working title. It's like Star Wars-y. It's in that field. I really don't hope we get like a old lady Mara Jade.
So real quick. So Luke, in accordance with everything that once again Mike Zero is talking about and all these things here, Mark Hamill tweeting, the last what is he called? He's calling episode 9 the last paycheck. That's what he called it. he called it the episode 9 the last paycheck, and he called he's had to delete a couple of tweets apparently. So it's like, okay, so we know that Mark Hamill's coming back for episode 9.
I love how he begrudgingly made that clear. Like, man, I love you, Mark. It's like Weird Al said it so true in like an old in that Yoda song. He's like, I'll be making these movies till the end of time, and it's like, yep, that's Mark Hamill. Like, he's stuck in it. It could be. I mean, you could argue that maybe because he had a movie contract set up for all 3 films, that maybe if they really kick him out, he gets a paycheck no matter what.
I don't think it was that. I think.
Nope. I know. I agree with you. I'm just saying one could argue that.
Okay.
That would be the argument. No, okay. He had clauses in his contract, so he has to get paid. Nah, no.
Yeah. So I mean, we all know that he was stuck having to do The Last Jedi, even though it was an extreme. That's his words. It was extreme. So, but he was under contract, and so that's why I had to do it. But in this situation, hopefully, if he's agreeing to do it, he's agreeing to do episode 9.
But again, is it agree, or does he have to?
So I don't think that he has to at all. Personally, this is my opinion. I think that he is literally, he either read the script or he's just like, that sucked. Okay, here's the phone call. Okay, fine, I'll do it again because he's being reintroduced.
Doing it for the fans, kind of like, hey guys, they're gonna bring me back. They're gonna do me justice, so they'll give me one last screenshot. Hoorah! I'll make some money. Luke Skywalker's done. Like, I get that, because too, for a guy with his career like that, it would be a good. Well, not career ender. I don't know. I have no idea. I hope he has other things planned in the future because he's awesome.
Well, what I'm hoping is that he read the script and he's like, okay, 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 now, okay, now, all right. Like being
okay with it, yeah.
Well, just being in actually his character being. Forgive me, the word may not be redeemed, but his character being reinvigorated, maybe. Just being and getting Mark Hamill reinvigorated about this, like just telling him, hey, look, this it ain't over till it's over. He said specifically, he said, can't you wait till episode 9 to kill me off? That was one of his big complaints. Like, can't you wait till episode 9? So. I'm curious to see, what he may or may not do in episode 9 as a Force Ghost. I hope they don't just have him in it for 2 seconds or 5 minutes or whatever. And if they do have him for 5 minutes, have him say some really insightful stuff. Have him
drop some truth bombs about the Force or something we've never heard before. Something that it's like, oh dang.
Yeah, or like, you know what? And you know what I would love, and I don't know, maybe people might not agree with this, but I would love it if Mark gets this to be like, you know what? What do you guys think about this? And has his own idea for what Luke might say, and they're like, you know what? That's cool, Mark. Let's go with it. It's like, that would be really cool to just have him give his final input on this and be validated.
You know what? That's true, because of what I've heard. Marvel movies have a lot of impromptu
okay, right.
On the spot, right? I mean, wasn't apparently like Iron Man a lot of Robert Downey Jr. just making it up? I know Dave Bautista did some ad-libbing for Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's like, okay, they're doing it, and those movies are hits, so why can't Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, like, I mean, and yeah. But
I don't know. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah. By no means, do we want him to change the script in ways that I think that Mark has some serious insight as to what Luke might say or may not say or whatever, and or maybe his actions too. It's like let him maybe have some input as to what he might do or say, or how he might appear, or how he might actually act, how he might be changed, how he might be like, as forgive the overusage, but reinvigorated as Luke Skywalker, being a reformed Luke, and just being able to take things head on and not being treated like a child by Yoda again.
Yeah, well, man, we'll see.
Yeah.
Thrawn in Episode 9, Luke Force Ghost.
It'll be interesting.
Kylo, I'm excited to see what happens with Kylo. Like, man, again, I've been saying it since the beginning. Episode 9 is going to be the make or break. If Episode 9's not good, the Disney trilogy is just going to be garbage. If Episode 9 is great, it's going to be great. Like, yeah. But I guess not garbage, because, again, individually, Force Awakens, yeah. But I'm sighing because I get so torn on trying to read into it on like, oh, it's confirmed, he's really coming back, but then it's spoiled. Then it's spoiled for me. But
yeah,
man, we do a Star Wars news podcast, so it's kind of like it's my job to give you the news.
Well, I think it would be actually almost virtually impossible for us to come up to. It's like 6 months or down the road, and Episode 9 is for us to not know whether Mark Hamill is gonna be in it or not. Like, we'll see it on IMDb, we'll hear about it regardless, and someone will tell us either maybe they would be able to keep it secret, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, because it's not actually confirmed yet. So maybe he's actually not in it, and we just don't know. But honestly, I think to win everybody back, and honestly, there's so many people that are so upset. I don't know if this will win them back. It's hard to say. But you're saying that if they did bring Luke back in full force, and they did, reintroduce some of this greatness with the Force Ghost stuff, that you might be won over, maybe.
Well, I don't know. I never was really
you're
lost in the first place. Okay. But like, okay, I see what you're saying. I would be won over with Luke's story arc. Yes, because I will definitely agree. The Luke we left from the original trilogy, and then we got in the Disney it didn't. It doesn't feel like the same Luke. Even like the flashback Luke. Even flashback Luke wasn't real Luke. Like, so if he comes back, full Force Ghost is just like Master Luke, like Grand Sensei Luke, like just it'll even out. Because dude, then it's like he had the gnarliest path as a Jedi, right?
Yeah,
it's like he went from a scruffy nerf herder, whiny farm boy wanting to go to Tashi Station. He gets his arm chopped off, finds out Darth Vader, the Sith of the galaxy, is your father, and gets trained by Yoda, becomes the last Jedi, takes down the Emperor single-handedly pretty much with the help of his father, and dips down to being a hermit, and then all of a sudden he's back to the whiny status, and then Grandmaster. I don't know. I'm rambling on. I want to see Luke. Plain and simple. I want to see Luke.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we all do. So anyway, what do you guys think? Do you not care? Do you want Luke back? Do you want to see some further development with Kylo Ren? Like, apparently there are some 20-somethings. There's a group of 20-somethings people who are the Knights of Ren who are working with Adam Driver, apparently. This is just, once again, these are just stuff that I learned from Mike Zero's channel. So this is cool. This is a cool thing. Everybody wanted to see the Knights of Ren. And it was J.J. Abrams himself who said, it was like, I think it was when they were speculating, like, none of the standalones had been announced except for Rogue One. I think it was just Rogue One was the only one that was announced. And they were everybody, literally everybody out there was speculating on what standalone movie. And JJ said, "I would like to see a Knights of Ren movie." So maybe we'll get a Knights of Ren in the Favreau series. Maybe that's what it'll be. Maybe it'll be a Knights of Ren series. If that's what it is, 7 years after Yavin, that means right after Return of the Jedi, right? Essentially. So that means we could see the end of the Battle of Endor. We could see some really badass stuff happen in the Battle of Endor that we didn't see because most of the Battle of Endor was just the space battle, and then we had Ewoks. I would love to see. I would love to see some more really cool stuff happening on the surface of Endor with actual rebels and actual
the thing
Empire.
Is, I think the unpopular truth is that it was the Ewoks.
No.
It was all the Ewoks. People like you don't like to think that, but
Well, I think
I played the games. When you're the Ewoks throwing little spears, man, it's done. I see how they lost. No, but for reals, I know what you mean because like there was more going on. Like there's the space battle 1, 2. Not even the Battle of Endor, but I want to see outside of Endor because the celebration in the reanimation in the special edition, right?
Yeah.
That was one thing I did like, them adding the celebration throughout the galaxy at the end, because it kind of goes over Coruscant. You see everything. Yeah, you kind of see like, wow, it was the Empire. It spanned the entire galaxy. So that's what I would like to see. I'd like to see like immediately after, not necessarily like the battle, but like we see like, dude, it could be riots. It could be, that's like a whole revolution going through, and then the government just got like, dude, yeah, it could be crazy.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see. So anyway, please comment, like, subscribe, give us your 2 cents on stuff. We love talking about Star Wars, and hopefully you do too, and that's why you're watching this show with us. This has been Blasterpiece Theater. Like I said, we love talking about Star Wars. Although we all love film and all love all kinds of stuff, it's just that we really adore Star Wars to its inner core and its outer core and the black holes that surround it, and all the black holes that are pulling us in every which way and direction and pulling us into different galaxies. Hopefully you're enjoying this, and subscribe and give it a like.
We got some exciting stuff on the future. From Night Han Solo in 2 nights, join us. We have some tabletop Star Wars RPG roleplay awesomeness about to go down. We'll be filming that. We got the Battlefront that'll be going up. Man, stay tuned. It's going to be fun. Thank you so much.
May the Force be with you.
Always.